So boys, O'Leary Walker, wasn't it great to kick off the trip with that winery perched up there in the Clare Valley? A couple of wines that took my attention. Obviously the Riesling's being Clare Valley, Riesling the most, I guess, prestigious grape of the region. Typically, I know that you'll go into the Riesling styles from different parts of the Clare Valley, but they actually also had a German style there, which they call the Spätlese. Put that next to the Australian sort of really dry kind of Rieslings. It has a lot more residual sugar and sweetness, obviously there. So it was interesting to look at those two. And then the other wine that really took my eye was the Reserve Shiraz at around about $90 a bottle, so it's a pretty penny. But 118-year-old vines, so you can tell the depth of flavour coming through in that reserve compared to their entry level, I guess you would say, Shiraz at around about $35, which is not quite from as old vines. What did you guys think?
What I found interesting is that you could taste the difference between a Polish Hill Riesling and a Watervale Riesling. The Polish Hill was more minerally, more of a slaty Riesling, whereas the Polish Hill, you got a little bit more of, the Watervale, you got a little bit more of those citrus fruits.
And it does come through from the different soil type. Obviously, the Polish Hill, it is quite shallow, slaty soil, and you really see that coming through in the wine. But you're right, absolutely. The Watervale, it is so amazing that they're only a couple of kilometres away, or a couple of hundred metres maybe even, that they can really just, once that soil type changes, the citrus natures of the Watervale really, is expressed in the wine. So for me, my favourite wine from O'Leary Walker would probably have to be the Reserve Shiraz. I wish I had $90 to throw around a bit more easily. I'd get a couple of them, but I just loved, the depth in the hue, the colour, and also the aroma, the bouquet, and the palate. So what about you, Simon?
So you loved everything about it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
The standout wine for me would have been the Watervale Riesling, but the 06.
So you definitely liked the citrusy style compared to the slaty, minerally?
I prefer the citrus, but the fact it was an 06, had a little bit of age under its belt. I prefer my Rieslings with those toasty, kind of buttered toast, honey characteristics rather than the freshness and the citrusy. So I like that purely because it was an 06 and had a bit of age.
Yep.
It was an interesting vineyard. It was quite large on scale inside, and there was a lot of space, and with not that many.
Space is important for you.
It is. It sort of sets it sets the scene. When you walk in, if there's a lot of space, it changes the palate. If you're in a tight little cozy place with a wood fire cranking, it's going to sort of direct your palate in some ways.
Perhaps.
Anyway, the knowledge and the history of the place was interesting from the people serving us. The Adelaide Hills Pinot was a real interesting wine, showing it was light, but it had dark cherry tones coming through it, nice and spicy, really soft wine on the palate, and I could drink that all night, I think, and I probably will when I crack it. So, good spot.